here, we're going to talk about short, tight topics, little 3 to 5 minute topics. This one's going to be dodging and burning. As you can see here, I'm going to use this particular this image. I'm going to go to full screen here so you can see the image. Dodging and burning works especially well on almost any image, and I do it all the time. We'll use this image as an example, starting with the background layer here, and all we're going to do is dodging and burning. You can do several things. You can use the regular dodging and burning tools on the left-hand side here. If I click on the tool, you'll see the dodge tool is this icon here. The burn tool is that icon. Dodging lightens, burning darkens. So one way to do dodging and burning is to use these tools here directly on the image. It's destructive in the sense that you can't back out once you've done this, but it works very well. So if I use the dodging tool, for example, I can set this to midtones, shadows, or highlights. So if I want to dodge or lighten in the shadow areas, I would select shadows. The exposure will indicate how hard the effect will be. I usually use something in the middle, and this builds up over time. So if I wanted to lighten, for example, this tree stump over here, I could start lightening it using this here. You can see the branches there starting to get a little bit lighter right on the edge there. That branch I can get a bit lighter as I go over. Okay, so that I can run the exposure up higher, and then try to get this area over here lighter. So as you can see from what we've seen from the very beginning, if I take the history, and you'll watch, you can see all the dodging I've done. If I go over to the very beginning, watch those light areas as I click off and on. So you can see that I was able to lighten those areas there. The trouble with doing it this way is that it's destructive. Obviously, I can go back to the history tool, but whatever I've done, I've done. It works very well, though. I mean, I can go through and I say midtones here, and I can go through and lighten and darken what I'd like to. I get this more light, or I can have more light hitting these leaves over here. So it's a nice tool to use. That the darkening does just the opposite. A better way of doing all that, let me go back to the history panel and get back to the very beginning here, is to go to your layers, go down to the little plus sign here, add a blank layer. Okay. With this blank layer, there's two things you can do. Either use the blank layer and paint with the pen tool. I mean, not the pen tool, the brush tool. So I'd paint with a brush, or I can change this to a gray layer and paint with the dodge and burn tool. Okay, so let's do the dodge and burn tool on the gray layer. So using that layer there, I'll go to Edit, Fill, 50% gray. Okay, 50% gray. This layer is now filled with 50% gray. It's on top of the other layer. I'll talk about blend modes some other day, but the blend mode to use to make this transparent now is go to Overlay, Soft Light, one of these here. I'll use Overlay. Overlay works on the midtones of a picture and makes them transparent. So anything lighter, if I use the dodge tool on this particular layer, it's going to make wherever I dodge on that gray layer lighter, and the light will show through here. So if I use the same effect, if I start to use the dodge tool now, I can put light on these leaves over here, and in different effects, so I can start to build up and work on my image, putting light on the image. I'll just put a little bit more light here, so I can start to see the light shining through in the background over here. You can see it's starting to get lighter. Now if I want to put darken areas, I can do the same thing. I use the burn tool, go up to some higher exposure. If I make the brush larger, I can put more of a shadow in the front of the picture here, sort of a vignetting effect to darken the picture down. And you can see what I've done if I turn this layer now on and off. Watch the image. I brought more light into the center of the image and darkened the edges. That's typical of what you do in dodging and burning. And if you want to see what I actually did on this layer, I'll hit Option click on that layer. Sorry about that. Um, no, I don't want to do command click. In order to I'm sorry, I should be doing this option click here, which I turn off all the other layers. Now what I can do is I can see I option click the eyeball. Now I can see actually what I did to dodging and burning, the darkening down here, the lightning over here. So that's how you do dodging and burning that way. The other way of doing dodging and burning, let me take that layer off. The other way of doing dodging and burning using a similar technique is go ahead and use, instead of filling this with gray, leave it blank like this. Okay. Now with a blank layer, I will go back and change it to overlay mode again. Now I won't be using the dodge and burn tools. What I'll be using instead is the brush tool, and I'll be painting with black or white. So wherever I paint with white on this layer here will be equivalent of dodging. So I can paint with light back here in the center of the picture, bring more light to some of these branches. It has a similar effect of the other way of doing it, and both work about the same. I can put more light on this fern. And if I were to paint with black, I'll use the X key to switch between the two. Now it's black, X. I can use a bigger brush and darken the front part of the image here. There's some people like it do it with a gray layer. Some people like to do it with just with this blank layer. They're equivalent. If I turn off the layer, turn it on and off. The reason people don't like this technique as much is it's a little harder to see where you've worked, but it's still visible. So that's how you do dodging and burning using this technique here.